All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into some deep conversations, and of course, there's a few updates from Appiate, the incident or the explosion that happened there, rescue efforts, as well as remedial measures, and so on and so forth.
And the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Jinapor has been speaking. You know, he's been giving updates. So yesterday on the City Newsroom, we heard some of the things he was speaking about, and also on point of view as well. So there's a report, you know, that really explains the update of Appiate explosion. Let's take a look.
It was an incident that shook the nation. The explosion killed at least 13 people and injured more than 100. It also leveled several buildings in the area. It has rendered many residents of Appiate homeless. Government has so far sent relief items and other support services to the affected victims. It has also, through the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, suspended the license of the mining services contractor, Maxam Ghana Limited, following the incident. The Chief Mining Inspector of the Mining Regulator, Minerals Commission, has also been interdicted. In a yet-to-be-aired interview on The Point of View, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Samuel Jinapor, has been explaining the rationale behind decisions taken after the blast.
When it is said that there was escort, what is the nature of the escort? We need to know. I mean, that's one fundamental question or issue that we need to resolve. What's the nature of the escort? Was a policeman in the explosive vehicle, or was there a vehicle leading the explosive vehicle? These are all nitty-gritties we have to iron out. And what does the law require? I'm even already beginning to form the opinion that perhaps we have to take a second look at the law, because what is the nature of the vehicle which should be used to transport explosives, and so on and so forth. So there are fine details which have to be resolved. But what is important and what is fundamental, and I need to point that out, is that we establish the facts honestly and establish the facts in a manner that those facts are reasonably unimpeachable, incontrovertible.
In a latest twist, initial findings by a committee set up by the Lands Ministry have cited Maxam Ghana Limited subletting the transportation of the explosive to a different company, Josidek Logistics Limited. They have also had their license suspended.
The specific regulation which comes to play forcefully is LI 2177, which is the LI which regulates the use of explosives for mining, and which is why I've had to take the steps to give instructions for the Chief Inspector of Mines to be interdicted, and which is why I've had to take steps to get the explosive company, the company that manufactures these explosives, to be interdicted. In fact, I just found out this morning when the preliminary report was presented to me by the Minerals Commission that the company which was responsible for the manufacture of these explosives also subcontracted the transportation of the explosives to another company.
Wow.
Okay. So the Maxam company is the manufacturer of the explosives. The company which was responsible for the transportation of the explosives was Josidek Company Limited also. So I've since given another instruction to the Minerals Commission to suspend the registration of this company and preclude it from the transportation of explosives until the investigations are concluded. So this is a distinction that I have to draw very clearly. The health and safety of mining and mine support services falls within the four corners of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And of course, at some stage, we need to conduct an inquiry into the broader issue of health and safety protocols of the mining industry generally.
Players in the mining sector say the suspension of the license of Maxam Ghana Limited will be detrimental to their operations, since it is a key distributor of explosives to most of them. They have warned of dark consequences. One wonders if the ministry is being too harsh.
The reason why this decision was taken primarily was so that, we are not grouping in the dark. We are not taking a leap in the dark, so that we understand the issues at the base level. Minister, an incident like this is happening. the company that was responsible for the manufacture of these explosives, you allow them to continue to work. What if a day or two after you receive reports that a similar incident is happening somewhere? How are you going to answer that? So the responsible thing to do in circumstances like this is that you put a halt to the operations of that company. So you don't get a recurrence of that situation until such time that you are reasonably satisfied that even if you were to lift the ban or you were to lift the suspension, you will not have an immediate or a further recurrence of this incident. So that's the reason for it. In any event, the company is not given the nature of the investigations. The company does not have the potential. Okay, the company does not have the potential to interfere with the investigations, because this is our investigations being conducted by state institutions into the activities or the operations of a private company. So one can reasonably conclude that this company cannot interfere with the investigations. But the real rationale, the reason for taking that decision is because we don't have a recurrence of that incident.
All right, welcome back now. Yeah, so here you have it. This is an update from the Lands and
Natural Resources
Minister. We have been joined in the studio by the host of Footprints, Samuel Atamensa, and we'll just pick his thoughts briefly, and then we'll go and talk to Western Regional Correspondent for some updates as well. Good morning, Samuels.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Right, so Samuel Jinapor has been speaking.
Yes.
And Maxam and Josedek, are all in the news. I mean, by now, people really know who these companies are. Now, Maxam has been given some
responsibilities.
I mean, rightly so, because they have to take up responsibilities for what has happened. But with their registration staff suspended, Josedek as well. So Josedek was the company transporting the explosives. I don't know what you make of all this, the kind of measures now coming in.
Well, I think that the first thing to say is condolences to the bereaved families and the entire village. Commiserations to them. It's one thing happening too many times. Accidents on our roads, it starts like something that we can live with, and then this is where it's gotten us to. Whichever way you look at it, this is an accident, unintended, and so people need to be consoled. The other thing is that the minister spoke on Point of View yesterday.
Yeah.
I would believe that he knows a lot more things that we are not privy to. So that may inform him on some of the positions that he's taking. I just have still playing around a few questions on my mind. For instance, why the suspension of the operations of Maxam company? I don't understand. Because in one breath you say that you are investigating the whole thing. In another breath you jumped to exact punishment to one of the players before you conclude.
Yeah.
Maxam, from what we know, they manufacture or they produce, whichever way, explosive materials, means that they employ people as well. I don't know the size of the company in Ghana.
It looks like it's quite big.
In Ghana, I mean. So what I'm saying is that suspension of their operations actually means that people are going to go home hungry.
Yes.
Now, why do that when you have not established the facts as per your own initiative of having investigation? That's what I'm saying. But having said that, the supply chain in the heavy duty or heavy equipment industry, like mining, oil and gas and stuff like that, this transportation leg of the supply chain is almost certainly given to a third party. The fact that you manufacture explosives doesn't make you the best logistics company. So it makes good sense if it's given to a third party. So I still can't reconcile the suspension of this company. That's why I'm saying maybe he knows a lot more things that we don't know. But if it's given what we all know, then I think it's a bit too much in a hurry to suspend their operations, if that's what I understand by their suspension. Or is it revocation or suspension?
No,
it's just
suspension.
Suspension.
Because what the minister also said was, because of the investigations going on, they really want to get to the bottom of issues and all that.
What are you investigating?
So they should hold temporary.
No, what are you investigating? Are you investigating the unfortunate accident?
Yeah.
Or you are investigating the wholesomeness or unwholesomeness of the explosives?
Yeah.
What are you investigating? That requires that the whole company must shut down people, because a lot of them are actually laborers
kind of
who are going to sit at home and wait. You know, so I'm just saying that why can't we do all together? Because unless they can prove that by allowing them to work will compromise
their investigations.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, for what he said, it was towards something like that, because
but
he also mentioned
he
that
can't prove that.
He also mentioned that Ghana doesn't want another incident like that. You know,
but the incident is not about a manufacturer's defect. This is my point.
Yeah, it was an accident that happened.
It's not about a manufacturer's defect.
Transported.
These are explosives. So we don't know the actual story. I have said that the person with the best knowledge of what happened in that accident is gone with the accident.
Who is that person?
The unknown person. That unknown person who saw things unfold from beginning to end was taken in the blast.
Yeah.
So everybody who is saying is just telling what they heard. So we don't know the full story. But I'm just saying that suspend operations of the manufacturer so that you can investigate the accident. I don't see the reconciliation here. Because the accident happened, accident.
Yes.
The police is giving one version of the story, and we hear another version of the story.
In fact, the supposed motor rider who crashed with the truck, who now is saying that I wasn't even there for the accident. Yeah. I was at the hospital.
Yeah, apparently, it was a...
well, that's what I'm saying, that there are different
vehicle
stories. So why don't we establish the story and come back to punishment?
Yeah.
Unless their continuous production will now have a toll on affect the investigation. That's all I'm saying. Or David,
yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Because you see, this action will let people go and sit at home.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
So can we avoid that? Can't we? Can we look at it differently? You know, then another question. The companies involve themselves. What kind of investigations are they pursuing?
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because no matter who you are, they will have information that you don't have. So I would require that, okay, I'll suggest, look, let the companies do their own investigations. Let's start from there. Because this one is nobody's doing deliberately. So it's in the interest of every one of us that we go through thoroughly to see what happened and how we can avoid such things. I mean, look, what happened if some of the stories we hear, oh, there was a crash and something happened and the thing sparked fire and it exploded. Even in California, in wherever, if this kind of accident happens, it will explode.
It's the same thing. Same thing, yeah.
If what we are hearing is what happened, no matter which country, it will still explode.
Yeah.
Can you imagine for a moment if this thing had happened within the prisons of Bogoso Market?
My goodness.
It would have been something else.
That would have been, I mean, this is disastrous.
I mean, yes.
But that would have been another scale.
Yes.
You get me? So it's just unfortunate that this thing happened, and we should investigate. But in the process of investigation, let's not also, cause another problem.
Well, Right, so we go over to the Western region. Our correspondent, Akwesi Jenim, is standing by to give us an update of events from the Appiate explosion. Thank you for joining us on Breakfast Daily, Akwesi.
Good morning.
Right, so thank you very much. You've been updating us. What new has happened between yesterday and today?
Well, just to touch on the investigation that is actually going on.
Sure.
Yesterday, just before the ministry actually issued that statement on the closure of the Josibek logistics company.
So Akwesi, hold on. Is it so? Josibek has been closed down, shut down completely?
Yes, they have. Yeah, the operations have been shut down. In fact, this is a company that is situated at Biahon, a community called Biahon in the Ahanta West, district of the Western region. When you get there, they don't just transport explosives. Completely manufactured explosives. They have warehouses that store ammonium nitrate. And don't forget, ammonium nitrate is what is actually used.
Yes.
It's one of the key components used in the manufacture of the explosives. So Josibek is not just into the transportation of explosives, but they operate warehouses with a lot of these ammonium nitrate, which are packed in sacks.
Akwesi,
hello?
Where does Maxam feature in all of this?
Maxam has its operational office at Tapa, the major operational officer at Tapa, where they actually use this component that I'm talking about, ammonium nitrate and other substances, to actually manufacture the final product that goes to the mine. And so they are in Takwa. And you know, if you look at our road from Takwa to Takwa, you see several trucks carrying ammonium nitrate in sacks.
Okay.
Trucks with about maybe 200 sacks, white sacks, loaded with ammonium nitrate. And these are merely for explosive manufacture. And they all go to these companies that manufacture the explosives. And one of them is the Mazam company. They receive this ammonium nitrate and go ahead to process, manufacture the explosives for the mine. And when you talk about the manufacturing of explosives, we have other players. Mazam is a Spanish company, and they are one of the biggest two we have within the catchment of Dakwa. The second biggest manufacturer of explosives is AEL. There are other Ghanaian players who are also into this manufacture of explosives. So they are all stated around. We have about 6 of them around the Greater Accra metropolis.
Okay, so Akwesi, the clarification that we're seeking to get here is, has Maxam been shut down?
Suspended.
Maxam was shut down on the Saturday. By officers
so what? I mean, the reports we have is a suspension of their license.
Yeah, I mean, with the suspension of their license, it means they can't
operate.
Service any of the mines.
Okay.
Just immediately after they are shut down, we have some of the players, the mining companies, actually coming around to complain the likely impact on their operations. Mazam actually service no less than 6 mining companies, including Ashanti, Anglo-Good Ashanti.
Yeah.
That's the mine.
Yeah.
They service Trano, they service Ghana Manganese company, and even Awaso.
Okay.
And so we have about 6 companies who are already complaining that they are
affect their
to actually affect their operation.
Okay. So does Maxam transport explosives?
If you get to their premises, they have these minivans with explosives written on them. And when you check the tag on them, I saw one with a tag Anglo-Good Ashanti. So we don't know whether these vans themselves belong to the mining company.
Okay.
But with what we are hearing concerning Josibek, it means maybe these are vans that belong to other operators, but they target with these mining companies for easy identification that they are bound to those mining companies. But for now, we are yet to know whether Mazam, besides manufacturing of explosives, they also carry out transportation of these explosives.
Right. Thank you very much, Anim. Thank you very much for that update. Right. So, Summers, this is where we are. So, Josidek has their operation suspended. Maxim is also had their registration process and everything also suspended as well. Now, the news out there is the ministry too says that Chirano is not going to be affected. It will still continue. Now, I'm bringing this in because, like you said earlier, if Maxim is servicing all these companies and the companies are working, but the manufacturers are not working, where does that leave them anyway?
That's a big problem. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that, and you know, I can be quoted. I think that there's no point suspending the operations of Maxam Company at this point. And I'll just put a caveat: unless the minister knows something we all don't know, which is possible, but on the face of what we know, you see, it's a chain. It's a chain.
Yeah.
The logistics industry fits right into the manufacturer and then the end user.
Yeah.
So you have a logistics company like, what is it,
Josidek.
Fitting in between, in this particular case, the end user is Chirano, and then the manufacturer is Maxam.
Yeah.
Now, manufacture of products has happened. The logistics company takes over for one, storage. You heard him say that. And plant distribution, and that would include transportation.
Yes.
Now, Chirano is expecting to receive.
Yeah.
They have not received.
Yeah.
So why do you punish them?
Yeah. You can't punish.
So you are punishing them for ordering?
No. It doesn't make sense.
So leave them out.
Yeah.
You have manufactured, passed on to the third party for storage and distribution.
Yes.
And you punish me, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, whose responsibility it is now is
Josidek.
Josidek. Is it Josidek?
Yeah.
It sounds like Joycelyn.
Josie for short.
Josie and Derek, they came together from the company.
Now, so this is the company that is responsible for it.
Yeah.
So let's deal with the transportation and storage issue. Okay. Now, if you cut the manufacturer off, there are more companies, including Chirano, who are going to suffer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the suffer is also in chain, or the suffering is also in chains, because they don't get to work. They don't get to raise revenue. Government doesn't get to raise taxes. They don't get to feed their families. You see, so it's such a long
the domino effect.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying that let's be sure that we are exact with the facts before we start issuing all these suspensions and things. Otherwise, it will come back to bite us. Somebody will have to render a certain apology at the end of this whole process.
Yeah.
Right, so this is where we are, and we're looking forward for more updates, you know, from the investigations. And like the man said, I'm sure there are a lot of things that we don't know. In the coming days, we might be given more details of what is happening and why a company like Maxim would have to have their operations suspended. This is Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back.